my brother Anakin. I loved you.
Welcome back, Screen Crush. I'm Ryan Airy, and I am about to recap everything that you need to know before watching Obi Wan Kenobi. This recap is going to cover the history of Old Ben and Anakin Skywalker, and we're going to go over the movies, shows, comics, novels, and even trading cards, all in a very short amount of time. So,
Here we go.
Obi Wan Kenobi was born on planet Stewjon, and like most Force-sensitive children born in the Galactic Republic, he was taken to the Jedi Temple to train to be a Jedi at a young age. But what you may not know is that Obi-Wan was a rebellious young Padawan, so most of the Jedi Masters did not want to train him.
I cannot teach him.
Which is why Yoda paired him with Qui Gon Jinn, another unorthodox Jedi. We see hints of this rebelliousness in the Phantom Menace.
The boy is dangerous. They all sense it. Why can't you?
Qui-Gon was unusual among the Jedi because he focused on the living Force. That's the power of the Force generated by all living things.
Be mindful of the living Force, young Padawan.
Whereas most Jedi tend to focus on the cosmic Force, trying to understand the will of the cosmic Force. Now, this focus on the living aspect of the Force is why Qui-Gon was able to eventually come back from the dead as a Force ghost.
Remember your training, Anakin. Trust your instincts.
When Obi-Wan Kenobi was a teenager, he and Qui-Gon were sent to Mandalore during a Mandalorian civil war. Basically, the warriors on the planet wanted to take control of the planet from the more peaceful Mandalorians, so the Jedi were tasked to watch over young Duchess Satine Kryze. Duchess Satine's family headed up the peaceful faction of the Mandalorians. Now, during this time, she and Obi-Wan Kenobi fell in love, but they never acted on their desires.
Had you said the word, I would have left the Jedi Order.
So the peaceful Mandalorians won the war and they exiled the warriors to their moon Concordia, so Satine could rule over Mandalore in peace. However, her sister Bo-Katan sided with the warriors. More on them later. About 12 years later, the events of the Phantom Menace happened. I'm sure you've all seen the movie, so I'm going to run through those events very quickly. The Galactic Republic is corrupted by greedy corporations. Naboo is overrun by a droid army. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are sent to help. They rescue Queen Padme. They get stranded on Tatooine where they meet the slave.
I'm a person and my name is Anakin.
Sorry, Anakin. Anakin is more powerful with the Force than any Jedi ever. Qui-Gon frees him, but not his mom, and this makes Anakin sad.
I will come back and free you, Mom.
Qui-Gon fights Darth Maul, a Sith Lord, even though the Jedi thought the Sith had been extinct for generations. The Jedi Council refuses to train Anakin.
He will not be trained.
Back to Naboo, big fight.
Now this is pod racing.
Darth Maul kills Qui-Gon. And Obi-Wan obeys his master's last wish to train Anakin.
Council have granted me permission to train you. You will be a Jedi.
Senator Palpatine is the real winner in all this because he is elevated to become the new Chancellor of the Republic, and the Jedi are wondering who this new Sith Master could be. Now, what you may not know is that during Anakin's first year of training with Obi-Wan, he would sneak into his master's room at night and sleep on the floor because he missed his mom. He goes on to be a very talented young Jedi, but he feels conflicted. He misses his mother, so he actually at one point decided to leave the Order when he was 9 years old. Obi-Wan decided that even if Anakin did leave the Order, he would still train him in the Force to follow Qui-Gon's last wish. Obi-Wan even tells Yoda that he would even leave the Order himself to make sure that Anakin was properly trained. But of course, Anakin decided to stay, and he slowly formed a fatherly bond to Chancellor Palpatine.
I see you becoming the greatest of all Jedi, Anakin.
Fast forward a few years, and now several systems are leaving the Republic to form the Confederacy of Independent Systems, and they're led by a former Jedi, Count Dooku, who's actually a secret apprentice of the Sith Lord Darth Sidious. Several people in the Senate want to create an army for the Republic to take over security from the Jedi. Senator Padme is against this idea, and she's almost killed by a Mandalorian bounty hunter named Jango Fett. So Obi-Wan goes off to track down the bounty hunter while Anakin guards Padme and falls in love with her, in a creepy way. Obi-Wan discovers that some dead Jedi paid to have a clone army created for the Republic, and they're cloned from the same guy who just tried to kill Padme. Obi-Wan follows this guy and his kid to the Separatist headquarters where he's kidnapped. Meanwhile, Anakin and Padme start to fall for each other, which is against the Jedi Code.
We could keep it a secret.
We'd be living a lie.
But Anakin keeps dreaming of his mom dying, so they take off for Tatooine, find out she's no longer a slave, and she married a guy.
I guess I'm your stepbrother.
Anakin goes off to rescue his mom from the Sand People, but he's too late, and then he throws a tantrum.
And I slaughtered them like animals. I hate them.
And Padme doesn't find this horrifying at all. Anakin's big takeaway from all this is that he could have saved his mom if he had more power.
I will be the most powerful Jedi ever.
He and Padme go to rescue Obi-Wan. There's a gladiator fight, which turns into a Jedi versus droids fight, which turns into a clones versus droids fight, and then it kicks off a civil war.
Begun. The Clone War has
Anakin also loses an arm. Then he and Padme get married in secret as Anakin becomes a Jedi Knight and leaves to go fight off in the Clone Wars. During the war, Anakin is assigned his own Padawan learner, Ahsoka Tano.
You're stuck with me, Sky Guy.
Ahsoka starts off really annoying, but will grow to be one of the best Star Wars characters and an accomplished Jedi. Throughout the war, Anakin's tactics became more and more brutal as he's shown a tendency to solve problems with violence.
Anakin. What? He was gonna blow up the ship.
And he even kills a Sept general in cold blood. In particular, he becomes more violent when it comes to defending Padme, which Obi-Wan notices.
Padme may be lost, Anakin. Don't risk the mission trying to rescue her.
Now, for a brief period, Obi-Wan fakes his own death and goes undercover, during which time he uses the alias Ben.
This is Ben. I found the transmitter.
Then some real bad stuff happens. Someone bombs the Jedi Temple and Ahsoka Tano is framed for the crime. The Jedi Council vote to expel her from the Order, pending trial. After Anakin clears her name, the Council offers to reinstate her, but by then she's too disillusioned.
I'm sorry, Master, but I'm not coming back.
Just before leaving, Ahsoka also implies that she knew that Anakin and Padme were secretly married. Ahsoka leaving the Order breaks Anakin's heart and makes him distrust the Jedi Council. Obi-Wan is also reunited with Duchess Satine, protecting her from the violent Mandalorians who are called Death Watch. Death Watch later forms an alliance with Darth Maul, who survived his Haven and created a new criminal organization called the Shadow Syndicate. They conquer several other crime syndicates and then reconquer Mandalore. Darth Maul wants revenge on Kenobi, so he lures him to Mandalore so he can watch him kill Duchess Satine.
I always will.
Then Maul turns on his allies and kills the leader of Death Watch, making him their new leader and king of Mandalore. Satine's sister Bo-Katan is not cool with this, so she leads a rebellion against Maul, leading to the 912th Mandalorian Civil War. She gets some help from Ahsoka Tano, who volunteered to lead a clone regiment to reconquer the planet. She defeats and recaptures Darth Maul, leaving Bo-Katan in charge of Mandalore. In fact, if you want to know what happens to Mandalore next, check out our Mandalorian recap. So then the leader of the Separatist military, General Grievous, kidnaps Chancellor Palpatine, taking us right into Revenge of the Sith. Kenobi and Anakin stage a daring rescue, face off against Dooku, and while Obi-Wan is unconscious, Palpatine ever so slightly tempts Anakin to the dark side.
Kill him. Do it.
Anakin kills Dooku, Palpatine is successfully rescued, and Grievous gets away. Then Padme has a special announcement for Anakin.
I'm pregnant.
And then he starts having dreams of Padme dying in childbirth. Obi-Wan and the Council are growing suspicious of Palpatine, while Palpatine insists that Anakin be placed as his personal representative on the Jedi Council. The other Jedi resent this, and they choose to take it out on Anakin.
But we do not grant you the rank of Master.
Which further grows the divide between Anakin and the Jedi Order.
What kind of nonsense is this? Put me on the Council and not make me a Master?
Then Obi-Wan asks Anakin to spy on the Chancellor, which Anakin is not comfortable with.
You're asking me to do something against the Jedi Code. Against the Republic, against a mentor and a friend. That's what's out of place here.
Obi-Wan goes off to kill Grievous,
So uncivilized.
while Anakin stays behind to get some terrible advice from Yoda and catch some opera with Palpatine, where he tells him that the Force can keep people from dying.
Is it possible to learn this power?
Not from a Jedi.
Anakin works out that Palpatine is the Sith Lord, and he helps him kill Mace Windu, and then swears allegiance to him, as long as he promises to help Padme.
You shall be known as Darth Vader.
Anakin then storms the Jedi Temple, killing kids and all of his old friends, while Palpatine activates a hidden chip inside the clones that makes them turn on the Jedi.
Execute Order 66.
Thousands of Jedi die across the galaxy. Palpatine covers this up by saying they tried to overthrow the government, and then he declares, Now this really upsets senators like Bail Organa of Alderaan. Just before this, he and Padme and other senators like Mon Mothma were talking about forming a group to stop Palpatine's growing rise to power.
We cannot let 1,000 years of democracy disappear without a fight.
Several Jedi did survive the Purge, including Yoda. Obi-Wan sends out a coded message warning all the Jedi about Order 66.
This is Master Obi Wan Kenobi. I regret to report that both our Jedi Order and the Republic have fallen.
Then he and Yoda make a plan where Yoda will fight the Emperor and Obi-Wan will fight Anakin.
Wait, why didn't they just go fight the Emperor together?
Buddy, if you start trying to find logic in all this, we'll never get through it.
Okay then.
So the Emperor kicks Yoda's ass and Padme goes to talk some sense into Anakin, but then the dark side takes over in him and he just gets jealous.
You're with him! You brought him here to kill me!
No!
Then Obi-Wan and Anakin have this massive confrontation, which Obi-Wan wins.
It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them!
Anakin's body is consumed in lava and flame as Kenobi takes a pregnant Padme to get medical treatment. Padme gives birth to twins named Luke and Leia, while Anakin is encased in a big armored breathing suit. The Emperor tells him that he killed Padme in his anger, and this assures that Vader will stay loyal only to him. But here's the thing, Padme actually did die. How? Well, we're not really sure, just some droid says,
"She has lost the will to live."
Oh, shouldn't the Jedi have sensed that, since they're all tied to the Force and it's the energy of life and all that stuff?
Anyway, they agree to split up the twins, with Leia going to live as royalty with Bail Organa and Luke growing up on a dirt farm with his Uncle Owen. Obi-Wan agrees to live nearby to keep watch over Luke and eventually train him in the Force. And also, Yoda tells him that Qui Gon learned to come back from the dead and he'll teach him how to become a Force ghost later too. And then Yoda goes to live in a swamp. Right after Vader gets his new armor, the Empire holds a ceremony where they destroy Jedi lightsabers in a public setting. Then the Emperor sends Vader on a quest to get his own lightsaber by killing a former Jedi and stealing the Kyber crystal from his weapon. Vader is also obsessed with the idea of bringing Padme back to life, or at least communicating with her in the realm of the dead. So the Emperor gives him planet Mustafar as a gift. This is the planet where he was very badly burned, and it contains a hub to the dark side. So he hires a Sith architect to build a palace that channels dark side energy, and this briefly allows him to enter the realm of the dead and speak to Padme, but she rejects him, drawing him further toward the dark side. After this, he resents Obi Wan Kenobi even more, because he blames Obi Wan Kenobi for Padme's death and thinks that he was part of an evil, corrupt system. And mostly, he blames him for getting very badly burned. Meanwhile, the Empire is clamping down and taking control of the galaxy. They're conquering rebellious planets like Mon Cala, making everybody get ID numbers, and replacing clone troopers with regular conscripts. Now, I mentioned earlier that a few other Jedi survived the Purge. There was a Padawan named Caleb Dune, who changed his name to Kanan Jarrus, and another Padawan named Cal Kestis, who I'll talk about in just a little bit. Some of the surviving Jedi decided to join the dark side, but they're not full-fledged Sith. They are called Sith Inquisitors. The Sith Inquisitors are dark side users who perform the Emperor's will, and Vader actually sees them as a threat to his place at the Emperor's side. After all, the Sith have the rule of two.
No more, no less. A master and an apprentice.
And anyone else is a threat to that relationship. But the Emperor puts Vader in charge of the Inquisitors, setting up a power struggle to see who loves Palpatine more.
So we're gonna have tryouts.
Some of the Inquisitors were also Force-sensitive children who Palpatine raised from a young age. And actually, during the Clone Wars, Palpatine hired Cad Bane to steal the Jedi's list of Force-sensitive kids and also steal a couple babies.
I stole a baby!
And the Sith Inquisitors continued to test Imperial cadets to see if they were sensitive in the Force, so they would know if they could take them and train them in the dark side. And this guy is leader of the Inquisitors. He's called the Grand Inquisitor. He was actually a guard at the Jedi Temple that we see here. So Vader and the Inquisitors start hunting down rogue Jedi, including the kindly old Jedi librarian Jocasta Nu. She's trying to restore the Jedi Order with a list of Force-sensitive children. Vader and the Inquisitors kill her, and Vader destroys the list of kids to make sure Palpatine can't train a rival to go up against him. Another Padawan who survived the Purge was Cal Kestis. About 5 years after Order 66, he was working as a scrapper when the Inquisitors tracked him down. Then he was rescued by a former Jedi Master named Sarah Jenda. After the Purge, Jenda was captured and gave up the location of her Padawan named Trilla Siduri. Trilla then turned to the dark side and became a Sith Inquisitor, named the Second Sister. Jenda felt so bad about this that she actually cut herself off from the Force. So she and Cal help out different resistance groups in the Empire, including one led by a brutal partisan fighter, Saw Gerrera. Cal is eventually knighted by Sarah Jenda, then faces off against Darth Vader.
You would be wise to surrender.
Yeah. Probably.
Now eventually, Cal acquires a Jedi holocron with the names of other Force-sensitive kids, but he destroys the holocron after he sees a vision of his Padawans being killed by the Inquisitors. Vader then spends years hunting down former Jedi, and even finds the lightsabers of Ahsoka Tano, who barely survived Order 66 and is going into hiding. So, while Vader's having a busy few years, Obi-Wan is journaling on Tatooine, talking to his dead master, and has resumed using his old alias, Ben. Now during his exile, he used to venture into town, but then he started to hold off because it was too hard to not help people in trouble. He once saved a very young Luke Skywalker from bandits after he wandered out alone at night. And another time, bandits attacked the Lars homestead and Ben fought them off. But this enrages Owen because he wants Ben to stay out of their lives. He is insistent that Luke not follow his father's path and become a Jedi. I mean, after all, look what happened to his father. Later, as a peace offering, Ben gets together some spare parts that Luke needs for his Skyhopper, and Owen returns them and again warns him to stay away. Now, around this time, Jabba the Hutt sends a bounty hunter after Owen Lars because he failed to pay his tribute taxes during this big drought. And this bounty hunter is Kursitan from the Book of Boba Fett.
No hard feelings. It's just business.
Kursitan kidnaps Owen, Ben saves him with a little help from Luke, and in the end, Owen seems okay with Ben watching over them, but he still doesn't want to see Luke trained in the ways of the Force. Now, I should also mention that Solo takes place right about the time of this show. In that movie, we see a young Han Solo join the Imperial infantry before breaking away and joining a gang of road agents. He meets Chewbacca, and his ex-girlfriend is working for Crimson Dawn. This is an extremely powerful crime syndicate that is secretly run by Darth Maul. So that's it. Everything else that's important happens after the Obi Wan Kenobi series, so check out our full Star Wars recap if you want to know more. Is there anything that I missed that I should have left in? Let me know in the comments below or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe, smash that bell for alerts. For Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Airy.